There's been many times in my career where I've discovered that a man may be making more than I was in a similar role. And my best advice on this is to get your information together with respect to market compensation, your skill set, and why you think that you should be paid more and in line with that individual. And then approach your senior person that you work for with this information. You need to be armed. You need to be able to explain to them why they should reconsider your salary.
Always easier to have a discussion, with your manager. You set out your objectives for the year, and then you keep track of what you've been able to accomplish and how you accomplish those objectives.
Not only should women ask for what they want, but we should be creating environments and work environments where women are treated with respect when they ask for what they want. And that there isn't a difference between gender in your response to that asking. So I really encourage women to negotiate, even on my team, even if I can't, I'm the one sitting in a power position and I can't necessarily give them what they want. I respect the negotiation, I respect the ask, and I always engage on it because I think it's so, so important. And I don't think women should be blamed for not asking enough. I think we all have a duty to create an environment where an ask from a woman is as respected as an ask from a man.
I think the most important thing you can do, first of all, is build proper processes within your organization so that you have experts on your compensation team who know how to do analysis around pay equity and comply with pay equity legislation in the first instance, but dig into the more complex issues around gender pay gap and what the root causes are of that. So first of all, having processes to analyze and look at your compensation processes are important. Having a strong talent team who participate in evaluation and compensation decisions, who are advising business leaders on these issues, who are at the table in performance discussions, listening and watching for unconscious bias. We've done training around unconscious bias, built that into our recruitment guides, and we're also starting to measure using some standardized metrics, things like gender pay gaps, and look at those and analyze them.
I really think that this starts with cultivating values within the organization and also tone from the top. I think, and then that trickles down to hiring practices, how you give out salaries and bonuses and titles. And for leaders in C-suite positions, we have this opportunity to change the conversation because we are involved in these practices. So making sure that we consider a diverse view and the impact that we're making when we bring on people into the organization.
This is on us as leaders to get to know every single person on our team, and it's up to us as leaders to take the initiative to do that. And I think that's really, really important in terms of really rising the bar and pulling everyone forward. Is treating and giving up the opportunity you would give to someone who's most like you to everyone on your team.
We put in place hiring practices that ensure that we have an equal number of female applicants, not just all male applicants in some roles. And if we don't get enough applicants, we in fact go out and look broader and ask our recruiting to go broader and cast a wider net so we get a better mix of diversity in our applicants.
There's an incredible awareness today amongst male leaders with respect to both gender advancement and gender pay equality and gender pay gaps. And I think that a lot of the reports that we're seeing, the articles in the paper, those have all really served an important purpose to shine a light on this. So I do think that male leaders are focused on this. The better ones are not shying away from the topic. They're diving in to learn and understand more, either through analysis and measurement, deep dives to explore things like unconscious bias in performance evaluation systems. They're open to setting targets and goals in terms of gender and other forms of diversity in senior leadership teams, and they don't shy away from holding themselves accountable or their teams accountable. So I think the only way that we close these gaps is if men and women leaders together are tackling these issues.
Young women in particular, and I find right now, and I've been doing this for a while, the young women who are coming up through the ranks right now are incredibly self-confident. They are so self-assured. Frankly, I've never seen that level of confidence and self-assuredness before. And with that comes a little bit of an edge. And so one of the best things to do is take these very bright, very confident young women and just give them that 2 or 3 little pushes in the right direction, and they just do phenomenally well. It's actually so impressive to see how well they do.
The higher up I've gotten in terms of title and the larger the team is that I manage, the more it just becomes so clear that it's a team conversation. And if I am not facilitating the growth and the empowerment of everybody on my team, I'm going to suffer.
And I did this by introducing things like allowing women to be promoted when they're working 4 days a week. That was unheard of prior to my coming on as leadership in the commercial bank.
So I try to be a change agent in a number of different ways, whether that's through community platforms in terms of driving fundraising and awareness around the progression of women and women that are in really sort of disadvantaged areas of our society, at an individual level in terms of mentoring and coaching and leading by example as a role model. From a positional perspective as a CEO, encouraging and setting goals and targets, committing my organization to some really important pledges and commitments like the Catalyst Accord or the Black North Initiative Pledge.
Also, really focusing on encouraging people to have work remotely, to have flexible working arrangements, and to ensure that they have the ability to try and balance both their career and their family.
Because the cannabis industry is a fairly nascent industry to Canada, legalization really only happened in the recreational space in 2018. It's our opportunity as women leaders to be able to change that narrative, whether it's diversity and inclusion or whether it's creating a social good, social impact industry where we are not only thinking about our neighbors or Joe and Mary down the street, but we're really thinking about the community.
As a woman, and like many women, I'm sure, we have been in positions where we see other individuals coming into the company and getting promotions or getting roles ahead of yourself, even though you're sitting there with a lot of education, a lot of experience. And maybe the person that's coming in, being a man, doesn't have the same education, doesn't have the same experience, and doesn't have that same in-depth knowledge that you do. And you do see them getting promotions ahead of yourself. When you see countries like Iceland, who make it illegal for women and men to get paid different amounts for doing the same job, I think that if a lot of other countries started taking suit, like following that suit, then we'd be in a much better position. And the gap, although it is closing, it is not closing quickly enough.
I do think that there is just some fundamental unconscious biases that happen in that particular regard, but I do feel it's our responsibility, whether you're a male or a female, frankly, that we need to constantly be checking that men and women are actually, in fact, being paid equitable. And so it's something we do pretty much every other year to have a look and make sure that just throughout the year, things just don't evolve. And then that gap grows and grows and grows. And I know for myself, even with just the quick checks that you do when you're looking at what you're paying people in bonuses and you look at the men and you look at the women and you think about their, and that's very unscientific, but just kind of checking in as you're working through your business, as much as I do think you need a full-on audit on a regular basis. I don't think it's going away. I just think we're continuing to need to work at it.